All right, Steelers, Eagles, Week 5, Heinz Field. Steelers coming off a bye. It was a little bit of BS because the Titans can't get their shit together, but it's all right. Coach Tomlin said we don't care. Got to move on from it. Bringing in the Eagles, who are now in first place in the NFC East. They got to San Francisco, put together a solid win over Nick Mullins and company, 1-2-1, the NFC least, like I call it, and they're in first place. So we got a battle of first-place teams, NFC East, AFC North, a rivalry game, Keystone State rivalry going down. Steelers, Eagles. Here's my preview. Let's go. All right, so I'm going to try to do this every week. Put it up on my YouTube channel, Cup of Joey, through Barstool Sports. Check that out. Weekly episodes with an interview dropping every Monday, then daily video content, and then before the Steelers game each week, I'm going to be dropping a preview answering your questions. So we're going to make it a little interactive, all right? Cup of Joey, subscribe. Be sure to like. We're going to be doing giveaways if you subscribe, so stay tuned to that. Also, available real quick, Cup of Joey mugs, hats as well with the logo on it, and then a long sleeve shirt that's real slick, a black long sleeve with a Cup of Joey logo right there. And it's not the whole thing, it's just that, the mug. So it looks really clean, so check that out. All right, Steelers-Eagles preview. Let's get to the question. From Pepe Silvia, over under 6.5 sacks for the Steelers. A lot of people thinking there's going to be a lot of sack action going on for the Steelers in this game. I agree with that as well. Eagles are banged up front, really banged up front. I mean, if you look at that injury report coming into this weekend, right now you have Lane Johnson, who's questionable, and then you already have Jason Peters, who is out, and I believe Jason Kelsey got injured on Sunday night as well. So, I mean, they're incredibly banged up. Carson Wentz, a lot like younger Big Ben, likes to hang on to the ball. We all know that and make a little play happen. Over under 6.5 sacks. Right now, the Steelers are averaging 5 sacks a game. Common thought here is that they're just going to completely bum rush to them and get up to 7 or 8 sacks. I wouldn't be surprised if that would happen, but if I was going to bet on it, I would say they get to 6. So I would take under 6.5. I like the 6, the 5, right where they're averaging per game right now. So I'd say right about 6 or 5. I'm going to go under on 6.5 sacks. Eros Rivas asks, how many turnovers for the Steelers? He didn't specify on defense or on offense. I'm guessing he meant how many will they get on defense. I'm going to go with 2. I think that Carson Wentz will throw an interception, and then I think that we will get a strip sack. The Steelers will get a strip sack from T.J. Watt or Bud Dupree because, again, Carson Wentz is turnover prone. He likes to stay back there in the pocket. He's not going to have a whole lot of great protection this week, and I think that them coming through off the edge, T.J. Watt, master strip sacker, Bud Dupree as well. I like a strip sack and an interception. I'm going to say Minka Fitzpatrick gets his first turnover this weekend. So I'm going to go with 2 turnovers for the Steelers defense. This is from Jason at JRich. JRich with a 1. Will the Steelers pull a Steelers move and play down to their competition? Good question. I know this is a common fear for a lot of Steelers fans, myself included. I don't think they will this week. And even if they do play down to the competition, I still feel that they will win in the end by at least 6 points for multiple reasons. One, because I think that the bye did do them well in some sorts last week. They were able to get Deontay Johnson back. He was in concussion protocol. I know Big Ben complained about it, and while I agree with him for getting the short end of the stick, I still think, it's not too bad to give your arm a little bit of rest. You get 5,500 fans in the stands at Heinz Field. That's going to help. Obviously, it's not going to be too big of a factor, but I think that the Steelers will be able to feed off that energy that they haven't had yet this season at all. And the Eagles are just really banged up, man. I mean, they're just really, really, really banged up on both sides of the ball. Even if the Steelers come out sputtering like we saw against the Texans in Week 3, it could be close at halftime, but I just don't think that the Eagles have it in them to be able to maintain that for 4 quarters. So even if they do play down, I really, really believe that the Steelers will win anyways. From Peter, will Deontay Johnson have a productive – this is at OK Pistol on Twitter. Will Deontay Johnson have a productive day despite receiving some shadow coverage from Darius Slay? I think he will. I think the usual we're going to see from Deontay Johnson here on out, really throughout his career, hopefully, and especially with Big Ben throwing him the ball, is about 6 to high-end 9 catches on the day, anywhere from 70 to 100 yards and maybe a score. I mean, he's that good. He's that good at getting open. His releases are incredible off the ball, and he's already formed that connection a little bit. We've seen with Big Ben to be able to make those kind of back shoulder catches, things that even if Slay is providing good coverage, that they can team up, and hook up for a nice 9, 10, 11-yard gain. So I feel confident about DeAndre. Again, like I said, he was in concussion protocol after taking a big hit against the Texans on that reverse, on that end around that we saw down there in the red area. And then that week off helped him to be able to get out of that. So he's going to be good to go. So I like a solid day from DeAndre. From Tony Rock at Rocktonio on Twitter, as a fan of neither team, what makes this matchup intriguing and why should I watch it? Well, I think that anytime the Steelers and Eagles get together, I mean, it only happens once every 4 years. I think anytime they get together, it's a rivalry game. You don't see it too often. Two proud franchises, historical NFL franchises. And I think a couple reasons for now in particular is, one, how does Big Ben bounce back from that week off to where he said he was rolling? Does that affect him at all? Is he rusty? Does he look worse? Does he take a step back? And then for the Eagles, I mean, I think week in and week out, we're going to see this questioning of Carson Wentz. We're going to see this, okay, is this team just so far removed from that 2017 run that we saw? You're going to have that questioning of Carson Wentz to say, okay, is he progressing? Is he regressing? Do they need to move on? So that's something that's really interesting that I've been interested in throughout the first 4 weeks of the season with Carson Wentz, is that if he plays well, people are saying, okay, he's good, he's our guy. If he throws a couple picks, if he's inaccurate, people are ready to move on. So those are a couple reasons I think that you should watch. I like this one from Dalton Rosenberger. He asks, Ebron or Gronk? Also, Ebron or Mike Gesicki for the Dolphins. We'll stick with Ebron and Gronk because I think, obviously, career-wise, it's just not even close. I mean, it's night and day. It's the Grand Canyon. It's Gronk. Career-wise, sure. But after watching Gronk the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, and the way that Ebron's come on the last 2 weeks with Big Ben, I mean, it'd be tough in 2020 not to say you'd rather have Ebron. I mean, Gronk is just so banged up. It physically hurts me to watch him run, so I can't imagine how bad it hurts him. You can't go wrong with Gronk. He's a legend. He's an all-time great. But I don't think that in 2020, this season, right now, that you couldn't make the argument to say, I think Ebron would be a better fit. From at Attract More, what will Big Ben and the Steelers offense look to do after coming off the surprise bye week? Well, I think they'll look to do what they were doing before that surprise bye, and that's be efficient, not turn the ball over, score in the red zone, and make an occasional big play. Put those long drives together where you got Filer or DeCastro pulling, and you're having a strong run game with the committee of James Conner, who has come on huge, very strong since week 1. Big shout out to James Conner. And then also you saw Anthony McFarland get in the mix against the Texans. He provides a burst that neither Snell or James Conner has. So I think really just being efficient and not turning the ball over. If Big Ben cannot turn the ball over, not throw careless interceptions, and they can put together long drives that are efficient and get points at the end, I mean, with this defense, you put up 20, 23 points, that's a win. I mean, that is absolutely a win. We saw that last year. And although the last 2 weeks have been a little bit more of a struggle for the secondary for Pittsburgh, I still have faith that they're going to figure it out, just like they did in the second half against Houston, where they kept them scoreless. They sacked Deshaun Watson 4 or 5 times, and they only put up 51 total yards of offense. So they're able to make adjustments. They have the talent on that side of the ball. All the Steelers offense has to do is, again, be efficient and not turn the ball over. And this is from Pepe. I think I already asked a question, but this one just gets to me because I have this all the time. Are you prepared for the Browns to win the division this year? All right. 3-1. Looked really good against a god-awful Cowboys defense. Have a test this week coming up against the Colts. The Colts are the number 1 pass defense in the league. The Browns like to run the ball, but the Colts are strong up front with DeForest Buckner and company. Here's the thing about Browns fans, okay? They are the epitome of the little chihuahua, the little yap dog that's chirping and barking at the ankles of the pit bull. The pit bull being the Steelers, obviously. Who in the right mind, who has given the credit and the ability for these fans to be able to come at any Steelers fan remotely close, or even a Ravens fan, or even a Bengals fan who's had more success over the last 20 years than the Browns, but yet they're always the first ones to chirp? I don't get it. I really don't. You're going to see in the test of time. First quarter of the season, 3-1. Congrats. You won a quarter of the season. It's the first time you've done it in legitimately 20 years. Good job. You're going to be able to maintain the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter? You still got to play the Ravens again. You got your ass kicked by them in week 1. Got to play the Steelers twice. I mean, you lost one of them last year to Duck Hodges. Duck Hodges is my friend. I love him. But he's not Ben Roethlisberger. We'll see. I like this one from @WaffleVan. Will Carson Wentz be wearing a backwards hat pregame, postgame, or on his way into the stadium? It's a good question. You're going to bring out the herd in me, all right? I would say pregame, there's a good shot. You know, he's out there just kind of lightly jogging around Heinz Field. It's early. You know, the sun's hopefully going to be out. 1 o'clock kickoff. He's just kind of casual. He's just kicking back with his backwards hat. I'd expect to see it pregame. During the game, I think he's kind of gone past that. He's heard enough of the criticism. And post-game, no, he's not going to the podium with a backwards hat anymore. No way. From Jack Feeney, we need to get James Conner more involved. Big Ben needs to limit turnovers, and I'm not worried about our defense. I definitely agree with the latter half. I've already touched on that about how I think you know, obviously the biggest thing is just being efficient. No turnovers for Big Ben. He doesn't have to put up Patrick Mahomes' numbers by any means. But I think we've been seeing that with James Conner over the past couple of weeks. Really, he had a hell of a game against Houston, and he finished the job strong against Denver in week 2. And that's all coming after a really unfortunate performance in week 1 where he was banged up, didn't see the field a whole lot, and everybody was high on Benny Snell, myself included. But the last 2 weeks, James Conner has run hard. He's put up good numbers. He's held on to the ball, most importantly, and he's been able to punch it in a couple times. So I think that James Conner definitely has regained that bell cow title that Mike Tomlin put on him before the season. And I definitely know that he is number 1 in the backfield with a committee of backs behind him. We're going to continue to see Anthony McFarland come in situations. We're going to continue to see Benny Snell, if he can hold on to the ball, come in short yardage situations, late in the game situations. And I think we'll probably continue to see Jalen Samuel on third downs and out of the shotgun. You know, they like him and matching up as a pass catcher coming out of the backfield, kind of Mewelde Moore type of back for a throwback for my Steelers fans. But I definitely think that James Conner has been getting more involved. He's looked good, and they're going to keep going to him. This is from Nick LaFoon at Nick2Swole _ that is on Twitter. Should Big Ben even play? Maybe some extra rest at this essential bye week. As this is an essential bye week against the Eagles. Not a chance. Not a chance. I mean, I guess I maybe see what you're saying, but I mean, they just had a bye week. The Eagles are by no stretch just a given. Nothing's a given in the NFL. Absolutely nothing's a given in the NFL. There's no. Big Ben is playing. He should play. He shouldn't sit. Right now, the Steelers are 3-0, could go to 4-0, continue to have that hold in the number 1 spot in the AFC North, welcoming the Browns in the week after that, so it's going to be an AFC North battle. He needs to have the momentum going to that as well, because he's already mentioned about he got the short end of the stick. He was really starting to pick up momentum, and then all of a sudden he got taken away from him. He needs to play. He's going to play because the Steelers need this game. They need it. I mean, it's the NFL. You get 16 of these, right? All the coach cliches. You need every single one of them. 4-0. That'll be the first time the Steelers go 4-0 since 1979. So a little bit of history on the line here. You like to see all these things happen, especially when I get, for whatever reason, a bunch of people coming at me saying, how's it going to feel to go 6-10 this year? 6-10 is going to look really good for the Steelers. Well, they're already 3-0 with the Eagles and the Browns in back-to-back weeks coming up at home. You feel pretty good about at least going 4 in one of those games. Then you play the Bengals twice still. So I don't really know where they're getting off about the 6-10 stuff. Probably a bunch of Browns fans, again, like I said, chirping for no apparent reason. All right. All that being said, you guys are great. You sent in a bunch of questions. I really appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe to Cup of Joe. We're going to do this every week. Again, an interview. I got a big one coming up on Monday. I'm really excited about. So subscribe to this channel. Hit that bell like everybody says, because you want to get notified when I'm talking about you. I'm talking about your questions. So subscribe. Give the channel a like. I really, really appreciate it. Final prediction for this weekend. Steelers right now are 7.5-point favorite over the Eagles. ESPN is giving them a 67.5 chance to win. You're going to have fans in the stands for the first time at Heinz Field. I like the Steelers. Well, not only 7-point favorite now. Anyways, I like the Steelers to feed off that energy. I like the pass rush to get to Carson Wentz. Again, like I said, probably 5-6 times. A couple turnovers. And I like the Steelers to win in this one 30-21. I'm going to go 30-21, maybe a backdoor score by the Eagles late. But I like the Steelers comfortably in this one. Take care of business. 30-21. They move on to 4-0. Here we go.